Well, hello everybody and welcome to Jeff's Baking Blog. Today I'm going to be making Stollen. That's a German bread with fruit and nuts in it that they usually have at Christmas time, so this is the right time of year to be doing it. I'm using a recipe from Delia Smith via Waitrose, and hers seems to be almost an all-in-one type method with very little kneading. So hopefully it's going to work out quite well, but it does take quite a while to do. So I'll go quickly through the ingredients. Here I have 110 millilitres of milk, which is hand warm. I have 175 grams of marzipan. I have in this bowl 300 grams of strong white bread flour and an additional 50 grams of strong white bread flour in this bowl. Then I have the zest of a lemon. I have 2 teaspoons of easy bake yeast. I have 110 grams of spreadable butter, 1 large egg beaten, 40 grams of caster sugar, golden caster sugar, and then I have 40 grams of pinhead currants, very small currants, 50 grams of sultanas, sometimes known as golden raisins, 25 grams of candied peel, 40 grams of glacé cherries chopped into quarters, 40 grams of dried soft apricots chopped up, and 25 grams of flaked almonds. Now I'll put a link to the recipe underneath this video, so you don't need to write everything down. You can always click on the link and go to my blog and see the recipe. I also have in this bowl of flour a pinch of salt. So the first thing we do is put the 300 grams of flour into our mixing bowl with the salt, and we add the yeast, and we just stir that round to mix it in. And then we add all of our fruit and nuts, and our lemon peel, and we stir those round to get them mixed in. And our sugar goes in as well. And then we'll make a well in the middle, and into that we're going to pour 110 millilitres of the warm milk, our 110 grams of spreadable butter, and the beaten egg. And then we're going to mix that all together into a very sticky dough. Okay, so I've mixed that and it's quite sticky. So what we do is we take half of our remaining flour and we sprinkle it onto the board, and then we pour our dough out into it. and we mix it like that till we've got it into a ball. And then we're going to put it back into the bowl, and we're going to leave it in the bowl for at least 2 hours until it's doubled in size. Now what we want to do is to cover that with some cling film. Stop any air from getting in, any drafts or anything. And we'll leave that for 2 hours, and then I'll be back with you to do the next step. Right, so we're back 2 hours later with our dough, and I'm going to reflour the work surface with the remaining flour. And knock the air out of the dough, and then we'll knead it back into a ball again. Keep popping any fruit that pops out back in, and then what we want to do is to just roll this out to about 20 centimetres by 15 centimetres, so that's sort of 8 inches by about 6 inches. I think I've got a piece of paper which is roughly the size, and it's almost already there. What I've also done is I've taken my 175 grams of marzipan and I've just rolled that into a sausage, which is about 14 centimetres wide, or long should I say. Now some Stollens, when they fold them over, they have a sort of a hump and a smaller hump on the top. But this one that Delia made, because it has the marzipan going in the middle, I think that's okay. Because it has the marzipan going in the middle, she turns it over and it doesn't have that hump. So we put our marzipan there, and then what we do is we pull our dough up over the marzipan, and we pull the other one up over it too, just like that. Then we turn it over so that the seam is on the bottom. And then we have to let it prove again for another hour. Now I've come up with an idea to save putting it in plastic bags. I've put some baking parchment on the base of that, of a cake box, and I'm going to put that on there like that, and I'm going to put the lid on top so that should make it airtight, and I'm going to leave that for an hour. Then I'm going to simply slide that paper onto a baking sheet so that it's ready to go into the oven. Now the oven is needs to be preheated, so 10 minutes before the hour is up, preheat the oven to 180 Celsius, 350 fan, gas mark 4, and then you bake it in the oven for 40 minutes. Again, when Delia took hers out, she made an icing of lemon and icing sugar and put that on the top. But having looked at various recipes and various videos, it seems that the traditional way with Stollen is, as soon as it comes out of the oven, to brush it with butter and then simply sprinkle icing sugar on top of the butter. So that's what I'm going to do. So when I come back, I would have actually put this in the oven and baked it for 40 minutes, and then we'll just put the butter on and the icing sugar on, and that will be it finished. So I'll be back with you after I've put this in the oven for 40 minutes and baked it. Well, I'm back and I've baked the Stollen for 40 minutes. I think I actually made a slight error in my kneading because there seems to be a crease there, but nevertheless I think it will all be okay. So now what we're going to do, rather than ice it as Delia did, because the more traditional way seems to be to coat it with butter. So I've melted some butter, and straight away, while it's still hot, coat it all over with butter. And it seeps in quite nicely, as you can see. I used about 50 grams of butter that I melted, and I'm not going to use all of it, but that's enough. And then the traditional thing to do is to sprinkle icing sugar over the top, confectioner's sugar for some people. Now this would sprinkle it too thickly, so I'm going to try to be clever and do it like this. Okay, and that's it really. Now I'm going to leave it on this tray for another 5 minutes, and then I'm going to transfer it to a cooling rack, and when it's completely cooled down I'll come back and I'll cut into it so we can see what it looks like on the inside. So I'll be back with you once it's cooled down. Okay, so I'm back with you now. I did let it cool down for a little while, not for too long. I probably should have left it a bit longer, but I've cut into it, and as you can see, you've got the bread and you've got the marzipan in the middle there, which is a bit soft. It will firm up slightly as the bread cools down, and I think it turned out quite well, so I'm reasonably happy with it, and I hope that you enjoyed the video and that maybe you'll give it a go as well. And I'll be back with another video fairly soon, but in the meantime, happy baking.